Hello and welcome. Today is day 25 of my 30-day cyber challenge. And today we are still currently working in the Introduction to Cybersecurity learning path. We are in the Introduction to Defensive Security module, working out of the Security Operations room. Today we are working on task 2, which is Elements of Security Operations. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. In this task, we will talk about example data sources that the SOC or Security Operations Center relies on, the services that the SOC provides, and an example scenario. So data sources. The SOC uses many data sources to monitor the network for signs of intrusions and to detect any malicious behavior. Some of these sources are server logs, DNS activity, firewall logs, and DHCP logs. Server logs, there are many types of servers on a network, such as a mail server, web server, and a domain controller on MS Windows networks. So logs contain information about various activities such as successful and failed login attempts, among many others. There is a trove of information that can be found in the server logs. DNS activity. DNS stands for Domain Name System, and it is the protocol responsible for converting a domain name, such as TryHackMe.com, to an IP address, such as 10.3.13.37. Among other domain name related queries, one analogy of the DNS query is asking, "How can I reach TryHackMe?" and someone replying with the postal address. In practice, if someone tries to browse tryhackme.com, the DNS server has to resolve it and can log the DNS query to monitor. The SOC can gather information about domain names that internal systems are trying to communicate with by merely inspecting the DNS queries. Firewall logs. A firewall is a device that controls network packets entering and leaving the network, mainly by letting them through or blocking them. Consequently, firewall logs can reveal much information about what the packets passed or tried to pass through the firewall. DHCP logs. DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, and it is responsible for assigning an IP address to the systems that try to connect to a network. One analogy of the DHCP request would be when you enter a fancy restaurant and the waiter welcomes you and guides you to an empty table. Know that DHCP has automatically provided your device with network settings whenever you can join a network without manual configuration. By inspecting DHCP transactions, we can learn about the devices that joined the network. These are some of the most common data sources. However, many other data sources can be used to aid in the network security monitoring and other tasks of a SOC. A SOC might use security information and event management systems, so a SIEM, SIEM. The SIEM aggregates all the data from the different sources so the SOC can efficiently correlate the data and respond to attacks. And down below we have SOC services. SOC services include reactive and proactive services in addition to other services. Reactive services refer to the tasks initiated after detecting an intrusion or a malicious event. Example reactive services include monitor security posture, vulnerability management, malware analysis, intrusion detection, and reporting. Monitor security posture. This is the primary role of the SOC, and it includes monitoring the network and computers for security alerts and notifications and responding to them as needed. Vulnerability management. This refers to finding vulnerabilities in the company's systems and patching or fixing them. The SOC can assist with this task, but not necessarily execute on it. Malware analysis. The SOC might recover malicious programs that reach the network. The SOC can do basic analysis by executing it in a controlled environment. However, more advanced analysis requires sending it to a dedicated team. Intrusion detection. An IDS, or intrusion detection system, is used to detect and log intrusions and suspicious packets. The SOC's job to maintain such a system, monitor its alerts, and go through its logs as they need. And reporting. It is essential to report incidents and alarms. Reporting is necessary to ensure a smooth workflow and support compliance requirements. Proactive services refer to the tasks handled by the SOC without any indicator of an intrusion. Example of proactive services could include network security monitoring, or NSM. This focuses on monitoring the network data and analyzing the traffic to detect signs of intrusions. Threat hunting. So with threat hunting, the SOC assumes an intrusion has already taken place and begins to hunt to see if they can confirm their assumption. Threat intelligence. Threat intelligence focuses on learning about potential adversaries and their tactics, techniques, and overall protocols to improve the company's defenses. The purpose would be to establish a threat-informed defense. Other services by the SOC include cybersecurity training. Many data breaches and intrusions can be avoided by raising users' awareness or security awareness and arming them with a solid security training protocol or procedures. Example scenario. One role in a SOC is the SOC analyst. A SOC analyst is responsible for network security, monitoring, and log management. Let's consider the following scenario. While monitoring the network traffic, a SOC analyst notices a particular DNS query repeating every minute. This behavior is not that of a user browsing the internet, and every precisely 1 minute they are making a new DNS query. The SOC analyst checks the source of the DNS query and identifies the cause as one laptop on the network. They isolate it and inspect it for signs of infection. They discover a program or process using DNS to communicate with a malicious server. Soon they find out the computer was infected after visiting a malicious website, by reviewing the computer's logs, and as a result, the laptop began communicating with the malicious server by hiding the messages in DNS queries. The laptop is cleaned, and threat hunting starts to ensure that no other computers or devices were affected. So our question for today is, what does NSM stand for? So I know we saw that up here, which was in this area, I do believe right here, network security monitoring. So I'm just going to do a copy and we're going to scroll back down. We're going to paste it, submit. Awesome. And that is it for today. That is day 25 and we are complete.